The A-10 Warthog, it's often called a gun with a jet, and, well, that's not really an exaggeration. The A-10 Thunderbolt II isn't a plane designed around a pilot. Instead, it's a plane designed around a gun. That gun, the GAU-8 Avenger, is so massive that the entire aircraft had to be built asymmetrically just to fit it. The nose wheel actually sits to the right of center. The Warthog weighs nearly 15 tons when empty, but interestingly, the gun and its ammunition account for almost 1/6 of that weight. The A-10 makes a car like a Volkswagen Beetle look. Honestly, like a toy. When the gun fires at its full rate of 3,900 rounds per minute, the recoil force is roughly 10,000 pounds, slightly more than the thrust of one of its two engines. In practical terms, this means a long burst can slow the aircraft by dozens of miles per hour. Pilots learn to compensate by adding power mid-strafing run. The misconception is that the A-10 is a slow, vulnerable relic. The truth is that it was built to survive what no other jet could. In the early 1970s, NATO faced a pretty grim math problem. The Warsaw Pact had, well, tens of thousands more tanks than the Alliance had anti-tank weapons. The Air Force asked for a close air support aircraft that could, loiter low and slow, kill tanks, and survive hits that would vaporize any other jet. The winning design came from Fairchild Republic. It was not beautiful. It was not fast. It was honestly a titanium bathtub with wings. The pilot sits in a titanium armor tub that weighs about 1,200 pounds and can withstand direct hits from 23mm cannon fire. The flight controls are redundant and manually operated because, hydraulic lines can be shot out. The wings have multiple spars, so you can actually lose large chunks and still fly. The landing gear is designed to extend even when hydraulic pressure is zero. Gravity does the work. The gear doors stay open so mechanics can visually inspect the tires before the pilot commits to landing. The engines are mounted high and aft, which hides their heat signature from infrared missiles and makes them harder for ground fire to hit. The Warthog's real test came during Operation Desert Storm, where 144 A-10s flew over 8,000 sorties against the Iraqi Republican Guard. The GAU-8 fires depleted uranium armor-piercing rounds that travel at 3,500 feet per second. A 2-second burst puts 65 rounds into a target the size of a dinner table. One A-10 returned from a mission over Kuwait with, believe it or not, over 300 holes in the airframe, one engine completely destroyed, and absolutely no hydraulic pressure. The pilot, showing remarkable skill, landed it by hand. Another aircraft actually lost about 4 feet of its wing to a surface-to-air missile and still managed to fly 150 miles back to base. The titanium tub had stopped fragmentation from reaching the pilot. By the 2003 invasion of Iraq, the A-10 had been scheduled for retirement not once, but twice. Both times, ground commanders simply refused to let it go. The aircraft's low speed, which critics once called a death sentence, actually turned out to be its greatest asset. Pilots had more time to identify targets before engaging, and that, in turn, really reduced civilian casualties. The Warthog, well, it remains in service today, not because it's the most technologically advanced platform, but because close air support hasn't changed its fundamental physics. The problem of killing a tank that's, say, 500 meters from friendly troops is still a problem of loiter time, visibility, and armor. No stealth jet does those three things well. Every attempt to replace the A-10 has failed, mainly because the replacement prioritized speed and stealth over survivability and time on station. The F-35, looks sleek and expensive, while the A-10 just seems functional and, well, old. The lesson of the Warthog is, honestly, an uncomfortable one for air forces that love expensive technology. Sometimes, the ugly solution is actually the correct one. History that goes deeper does not ask you to admire the machine. Instead, it asks you to understand why the machine outlasted every plan to kill it. Subscribe to War Machiner and share this if you value history that goes deeper.